Hey guys, M.A.D.D.Y. I don't know, but I'm still sick, apparently. My nose is a little bit runny. My throat feels better, but yeah, I'm sick. I don't have COVID. I'm just sick, so I'm not be able to go to work today. So, yay. But I gotta do some homework. So, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna listen to my favorite sports team, and then we're gonna try to live. I'm really sick, guys. I'm really sick. You guys don't believe me? Look at my face. This is not a person that's okay. Anyway, Alexa, go my favorite sports team time.
Here's your sports update. In basketball, yesterday,
That's not
the
what.
Clippers beat the Rockets
Alexa,
109.
play go my favorite sports team.
Hitting go. My favorite sports team from Spotify. Here's the latest episode, Cricket Primer.
Hello, elegant listeners, and welcome to Go, My Favorite Sports Team, the podcast that has reached new heights thanks to Mark's naked ass.
Yes, my naked ass. Well, maybe naked ass. It's really kind of a hypothetical situation now because as of this recording, maybe not before or after or wherever, the Apple part of the deal has not been fulfilled. Therefore, I'm okay.
Your naked ass is waiting in the wings.
It's on deck, however we said in the sports terminology. If you don't know who we are, my name is Mark. You probably know who we are, but in case you saw a new podcast at the #1 spot at the top.
It's up there. It's being recommended to more people.
Yeah, or something like that. I don't know how discoverability works on these various other platforms, but I am Mark, also known as Markiplier. I don't know anything about sports. Tyler has been trying to teach me for almost a year now, and I have not taken in anything about sports. I don't watch sports, I don't do nothing about that.
Meanwhile, I have a master's degree. Tyler Scheid, that's my name, has a master's degree in sport administration. I've studied and played sport almost my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that makes us a dynamic duo to help bridge the gap between those who call sports ball and all that stuff, which I don't say, but some people do. But I don't really watch games. I don't really follow sports. And that which I do is more of like every once in a while I'll pick something up.
But you're able to now be in some conversations and understand what even your personal trainer's talking about when Tua got injured.
Yeah, I could. I just don't choose to.
Yeah, but it's still getting in there somehow, even if you may be resisting it.
I'm not resisting it. It's just like is it my fault or is it the teacher's fault if something doesn't stick in?
Hold on. It sticks in. It's just you don't reaffirm it by watching sports.
Why would I do that? That wasn't part of the deal.
Well, you could be participating in conversations about it, which we do every time.
But I don't want to. I turn on ESPN and it's so boring.
Listen, if you weren't so busy doing a million other projects, you'd probably go out in the world and have someone talking about sports and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me.
I wouldn't.
Oh, yes,
you
it
know
would.
what I do in my spare time, and even before YouTube, it wasn't sports. I don't go out to the bar and go like, hey, you see Peyton Manning last week? I don't do that.
But you're quite distractible, and Bob and Wade pay attention to sports in some...
Yeah, but we don't talk about it. Anyway, it's not that I don't like sports. I am actually learning that there are some interesting things about sports, and it's the basis of the human experience. And today we're going to learn something even more about that. Well, yeah, you talk now.
Yeah, we're going to learn more that I had to learn already about cricket. Because right now, the Cricket World Cup is happening in Australia.
World Cup. I thought that was soccer.
There's World Cups for more than one sport, Mark.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. There's no way.
Anyway, before we get into the primer, did you even figure out if anyone was accosting me lately?
No, I haven't had time. I've been so busy with other super important things.
Getting your butt on deck, I get it.
Yeah, getting my butt prepared.
What do you know about cricket, or what do you think of it?
What I think of is Shaun of the Dead. because that's the first time that I saw a cricket bat in media.
Yeah.
Because he picked up a cricket bat because he is British. And Shaun of the Dead takes place in the UK, and instead of baseball bats, which would be the ubiquitous thing people would have by their bed here in the States, they might have a cricket bat, which seems like a pretty good weapon because it's so wide. I know that it's like roots, but there's probably some tie between baseball and cricket, I'm sure, just like football and rugby. I'm sure you have that in your big old list of notes there.
Yep.
But that's as far as I know. If they throw and hit, that's literally all I know about it.
Nice.
I know nothing.
Well, I knew of cricket being the founding father of baseball in the United States.
Why not founding mother?
Founding mother. Foundational grandparent of some semblance.
Go on.
I just like the word semblance.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really start learning a little bit about cricket until the movie $1 Million Arm came out. And that movie is about a sports agent who's trying to get back into business because he's been outplayed by deep-pocketed competitors, usually big agencies that have come about in the sports industry. And he goes out to India, inspired by like cricket games and reality shows that he saw on TV, to find a baseball pitcher in India. Basically a cricket bowler, and convert them into a baseball pitcher.
Okay, so why should I care about it?
Well, cricket
No. Why should I care about this sport in the same vein as all the other ones? What about it do I need to know? Because up until this point, I've literally never come across a cricket game in my life. I've never even been in a bar and cricket's been playing. It's only like clips on the internet that I occasionally, very rarely see. Why should I and all the people listening who aren't sport people learn about cricket? What are you doing?
It is arguably the #1 most popular sport in the world. It's back and forth between soccer. Soccer is more widespread, as everybody knows what it is, or football. But cricket, because it is the main sport in India and a number of, like Australia and a few different places, it is a massive sport. It is considered one of the most popular sports in the entire world.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
By number of people that consume and play and participate in it, yes.
Really?
It is.
I don't believe you.
It's the truth. The data backs it up. You can
What's
Google
the
it
date?
right now.
I don't have my computer. I just so happen to not bring my computer today, so I can't Google it.
You did it on purpose.
No, okay, all right. I don't want to be disparaging of the sport. Obviously, there's a storied history. I didn't realize it was that popular. So what is cricket? Tell me all about it.
Well, cricket, going into the origin of cricket, Act 1.
Okay.
The exact origin of cricket are actually unknown, but some believe it dates back to 16th century, and name derived from the Anglo-Saxon word crick, meaning shepherd's staff. It is thought to have been the first bat used by English shepherds used their cricks as bats. And then the wicket gate was the sheep pens as a target for bowlers and pitchers. Other people argue it dates back as far as the 13th century, in which boys played either at a tree stump or a hurdle gate of a sheep pen, which is very similar to what has evolved to become the wickets today, which is like the catcher's glove in baseball, but it's a little bit different in how it works. It's basically 3 wooden poles with bridges on top of them that get knocked down, would result in an out for the batsman or the runner if they're currently trying to get outs. So early manuscripts offer about the size of the wicket as it changed from a stump in the 1770s.
Pause. What's a wicket?
All right, so you have the stumps, which are the poles that sit up.
Well, hold on a second here. Stumps, poles. What poles? What stumps? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
All right, so there are 3 wooden rods. About, like, I think they're like 1.5 feet or 1 foot high. And on top of them sit these little bridges on top.
What are you talking about?
It's at the backstop. Like,
what's the backstop? What are you talking about? I told you I know nothing. Nothing about it. You said crook, sheep farmers, back 13th century, wickets, stumps. What are you talking about?
I told
what
you.
Are you talking about?
Language. You gotta bear with me.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Oh, go on.
The ball was presumed to be a stone that weighed the same since 17th century. The modern weight of the ball is about 5.5 to 5.7 ounces.
Is that where they weigh themselves in stones?
No.
Okay.
No. The ball itself, 5.5 to 5.75 ounces. That's the allowable weight for the ball. Cricket, for whatever reason, is not super precise on their measurements in a lot of things.
Oh, it could be anything. Because it depends on the rock you pick up, right?
Right. Back in the day, it was the rock, but nowadays they manufacture the ball, and it's like cork in the center with twine wrapped around it, and then it's got a coating on the outside that's leather.
Isn't that baseball?
Basically like a baseball, but inside a baseball, it's not exactly the same. It's like rubber strands around it. Also has the wrappings of thread, and then the cork. So they're a little bit different. The baseball has more bounce, whereas a cricket ball is just like a hard piece of leather with.
Okay, I don't need to know that it's a ball.
Okay,
all right.
okay,
I apologize for even interjecting.
So it wasn't until 1787 that the Maryland-born cricket club became the supreme authority, creating actual rules for
The
cricket.
supreme authority
That's what it says on
of
here.
the world. It was already popular around the world.
This
They
is just
became
in the UK. It's not in the world yet.
Oh, okay. I
So
see,
it started in the UK. And so now that club still exists today. It's based in St. John's Wood, London, and is named as the spiritual home of the game. The early rules read like this, and this is going to make your brain break because it's very complicated. You have two sides, one out in the field, one in. Each man that goes in goes... That's in goes out, and when he's out, he comes in, and the next man goes in until he's out.
That was the original rule?
Yes!
One team is in, one team is out. When one man goes out, he's in and out, and in and put your right foot in, put your right foot out, put your right foot in, and shake it all about.
Here's rule 3.
That was rule 1 and 2?
That was 1 and 2.
What? How is that 1 and 2?
The two sides was the first one, and then each man in and out goes number 2.
Oh, you blended them together. Yeah, just for comedic
Rule
effect.
3. When they are all out, the side that's out comes in, and the side that's been in goes out and tries to get those coming in out.
Say all 3 rules back to back.
You have two sides, one out in the field and one in. Each man that's in goes out, and when he's out, he comes in, and the next man goes in until he's out. When they're all out, the side that's out comes in, and the side that's been in goes out and tries to get those coming in out.
Everyone in this country club, I'm imagining, they're just a bunch of chuckle fucks over here. And they intentionally they wrote this
We're not even finished with these early rules.
Oh my god, okay.
When both sides have been in and out, including the not outs, that's the end of the game. If you have any questions concerning the details of these rules, please remember, like many things in England, pints are not compulsory, but may assist with your enjoyment.
So it was just a bunch of frat guys. It was a bunch of frat guys gathered around their pints of beer at the pub, and they were just having a good old time making up a bunch of bullshit. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
All right, so the primitive bat was more shaped resembling like a hockey stick initially. And then they changed to a straight bat to defend against length bowling, which had evolved with cricketers in Hambledon, a small village in southern England. The bat shortened in the handle and straightforward broadened the blade, becoming what we now know today, being made from willow wood and being a flat piece of wood with a handle at the bottom. Now, traditionally it's made out of willow wood, and it's treated with raw, unboiled linseed oil.
All right.
It's just a fascinating fact.
Okay.
The earliest 11-sided match, so it's 11 players on each team.
Like football.
Yes.
I remember something.
Was played in Sussex for a stake of 50 guineas.
What's a guinea? What are you talking about?
It's currency.
Oh, okay. That makes
Early
sense.
currency.
All right,
1697. It was believed that cricket was delivered into the southern counties of England until the early 18th century, when its popularity grew and expanded, and heavy betting and disorderly crowds were common at matches. Now, to explain the olden day matches, they were 5 days long.
No.
It's called Test cricket today. It's the most traditional form of cricket.
No sleep?
They slept.
Oh, okay.
So-
well, that's not nearly
so
as bad then. Okay,
they had
that's fine.
They had written in lunch breaks, tea breaks, dinner breaks, and usually about every day they played 90 overs, which is 6 balls thrown equals 1 over.
I'll come back to it. I have so many questions. But okay, a 5-day tournament, there was some tennis things that were similar, right? So that's not too extraordinary.
Right.
I'm not impressed. They haven't impressed me. If it was 5 days straight, no sleep, then I'd be impressed.
Fair.
But I'm not impressed.
So early on, bowling, which is the term for pitching in cricket, it's the delivery to the batsman. Bowling was underhand, and most bowlers favored the high-tossed lob. Now, in bowling and cricket, it is tradition for the ball to bounce before it reaches the batsman.
Okay.
So the offensive player. And so it was underhand. Later on came the round arm revolution.
The round arm revolution. You were just going to gloss right over that. You were just going to like leave that as a footnote. Now you have my attention. What is the round arm revolution?
The round arm revolution, instead of throwing underhand, they were throwing it kind of to their side, keeping their arms straight, but not above the shoulder. They were able to get more velocity by pivoting, sticking their arms straight out to their side, and releasing the ball to get more velocity by twisting their shoulders and
Did they
twisting their
not
hips.
know about the old overhand? Did they not
Overhand
unlock
was
that
illegal.
technology? I'm making a joke.
Sorry.
Well, I guess the funny will just not happen. I guess it's just not going to happen. Oh, well, I guess there's no jokes allowed here.
There's a lot to get through.
I just know 3 seconds for me to finish my punchline. They hadn't unlocked that technology tree yet. Then you say it's illegal. Then I go, oh.
We can rewind.
No, we can't. We leave this in. We leave this in, and we know the shambles of my joke will forever be torn. It's not even that good of a joke. It was like a little bit of a thing. No, Tyler had to interject with his knowledge. He had to say, oh, it's legal. I know it clearly. Obviously, it would be illegal, because why wouldn't they go overhead? Because I'm not stupid. I know. All right, anyway, hey. Oh.
So legend has it the round arm revolution was started by a woman named Christina Wiles, whose voluminous skirts meant she couldn't lob the ball underhand, because traditional dresses back in the day had
The sheer wind from her pitch would have blown her bloomers right off. It was a gale force wind. The voluminous billowing fabric would have just blown.
I think it probably just blocked her from being able to do it underhand, so she threw it side.
Nah, damn, fashion
the round
such
arm.
pain.
But controversy started to rage furiously when round arm bowling became the norm, as people kept trying to cheat to be able to throw it above the shoulder, starting the revolution of overhand. So much so that 2 players in particular were called for no balls, which means the pitch doesn't count and gives the batting team runs, for throwing it overhand. In those instances, they stormed off and did not play the rest of that. Yeah.
Okay.
They came back.
Who did? The overhand throwers or
The overhand throw.
Okay. Well, it was against the rules. I don't know what. Well, you can't have too much of an attitude if that is the rule.
Yeah. But they argued that overarm should be legalized. And 2 years later, in 1864, overarm bowling became legalized.
Okay. All right.
But not the cock and straighten the arm that you see in baseball. They have to keep their arms straight.
The what?
The cock and straighten. That's what it's called.
Is that what it's actually called?
That's literally
Why
what
didn't
it
we
was
cover
called.
that in the baseball primer?
Well, it was called something different because we were in America
think
by
it's
that
called
time.
a pitch. I thought, the
Yes.
pitcher who pitches, not the cock and armor who cock and arms, not that guy. Cock and straighten, sorry. The cock and straightener. He doesn't cock and straighten up on that 5th base. He doesn't do it.
So they usually throw using a slingshot method of throwing their chest forward and throwing their arm all the way around.
Like a discus.
Yes, but overhand.
Why didn't they
instead of
just do a spin? If they were doing the sidey roundy, why didn't they just add a couple spins to it?
Because bowlers were allowed to have a run-up, lead-up, so it wasn't about spinning. And accuracy is important because they want to try and hit the wicket that's behind the batsman. Because if they hit the wicket,
stump and the 3 poles in the bridge.
Yes, so there are 3 stumps with 2 tops that were connecting it. The whole thing together is a wicket, and if you knock them down, you get the batsman out. Called a dismissal.
Dismissal.
Yes.
You've been dismissed. Not an out. Not something
No,
like, you're out. You're dismissed. You've been dismissed. Like, is there an umpire? Is there an umpire?
Yes, there are
Okay.
2 per cricket. One that's behind the bowler, one that's parallel to the batsman.
All right, we'll get into the nitty gritty of the rules of the game, I guess, whenever you feel like it. But
Listen, you said history first, so I'm doing history first.
well, I mean, history first, fine. How much history is there?
We're getting there. We're getting into the final parts of it.
Okay, good.
So as the ball began being delivered more quickly, which now they can reach up to 90 miles per hour, 145 kilometers per hour in cricket.
Okay, so
That's-
similar to this.
Yeah, batsmen needed to protect themselves, so they started adding protective equipment, padding and stuff to protect their hands. there was also the problem with grounds and requirements for grounds. So they had to make sure that the grounds were level so that when the ball bounces, because the ball has to bounce more often than not before it gets to the batsman.
It has to bounce.
It's not required to. It can be thrown on what is called a foal, which we call a fly in the United States, but the ball has to reach the batsman below his waist. If it's at his waist or above, it is not a legal bowl. And then the batsman gets what's called a free hit. They get a bowl and they can hit it, but they can't get out on that hit.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
All right.
So, as the ground improved, batsmen grew accustomed to the new bowling style and went on the offensive. They started getting more runs.
Okay.
So many runs were being scored, there ensued and reformed the leg before wicket law, which has to do with if the ball hits the batsman and would have hit the wickets behind him, he's out. Basically, if he blocks the wickets from being hit, he's out.
I was
And it
going to
doesn't
say,
hit the
because
bat.
it seems like, defending it would be pretty easy if you just stand and run. But yeah, okay, that makes
Which
sense.
is where the batsman stands anyway when he's batting.
Okay, cool. What are the other people doing? You said there's 11 per side.
Yes. So you have the bowler and the wicket keeper, which is like the catcher in baseball. He's about 10 yards.
Wicket keeper.
He's about 10 yards behind the batsman and the wickets.
Harry Potter and the keeper of wickets.
And there are two batsmen. One is on the side of the bowler and one is on the side that's actually batting.
What, intimidating him? What do you mean?
No. So when a ball is hit in cricket, to get a run, both guys have to run to opposite sides of the pitch.
What?
When they both cross the line with any part of their body, that counts as one run. They can do that as many times as possible in one hit to score as many runs.
What?
But they don't always have to run.
What does that mean? Wait, no, stop. It's like Squid Game. Hop on one foot. Oh, and then you stab the other guy. What is this? What do you mean? Run across the pitch. What are you talking about?
Sorry, they're doing construction right outside.
Oh, my God.
All right. So originally, Test cricket was a 5-day thing. Later came one-day cricket, 2020 cricket, also known as T20, and obviously original Test cricket is still around. The longest cricket match in history lasted 12 days.
All right.
Because they were tied in runs when they finished 5 days. So they had to continue. It lasted 12 days.
Good God. Okay.
Act 2.
Hey, we made it.
Bounds and grounds.
Bounds and grounds. Bounds and grounds. Bounds and grounds.
This is me explaining the field. Because it's important for me when I get into explaining the rules for you to understand the
Yeah,
field.
this actually, I do agree with this because I have no picture in my head what it is. And I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat. I know what a baseball field looks like. I've seen it growing up. I know what a football field looks like. I ain't got a clue what a cricket field is.
All right, so a cricket field is a giant oval. Why?
Of all the shapes, a rectangle ain't good enough. They're gonna make them. Oh, you gotta get this perfect oval here. Who's gonna do that?
To understand this, you need to understand the pitch. And I'm going to explain the pitch, and then I'm going to explain the oval.
Okay.
All right, so the pitch is made up of two areas where there is a popping crease.
Okay. All right.
It's the line that faces the innermost rectangle.
Okay. What?
This is a giant rectangle.
What
All
is?
right.
I thought you said it was an oval.
The pitch. No, the giant field is an oval, but it surrounds what is called the pitch, which is a rectangle.
What's the pitch?
The pitch is a rectangle that is 66 feet or 22 yards from end to end.
Yeah, but what is the pitch?
The pitch is where the bowler and the batsman interact. The rest of the field is where fielders stand to try and get the batsman out. And much like in baseball, you have the field that's the diamond. The fielders are out there to stop the batsman, and the batsman is in the batter's box.
Is the pitch in the center of the oval?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Because the batsman can hit the ball any direction, or if it gets past him and the wicketkeeper can't corral it, he can get a run that way.
Oh, can he do the scoop and lift and chuck it back behind him?
If he hits it straight up so that it flies behind him and backwards, yes, he could
So
do
there's
that.
no foul balls.
Correct.
in cricket. Okay. Oh, I'm starting to get the picture of it. Okay, I'm starting to get it.
All right, so the pitch in total is 66 feet or 22 yards in this longest end to end. Between the two popping creases, it is 58 feet. All right?
Okay, all right.
So it is, by that, 8 feet shorter. So each box is 4 feet in width. So you're looking at a rectangle,
Wow.
22 yards or 66 feet, with another line where the popping crease to popping crease is 58.
Still not sure what a popping crease
It's a
is.
line. It's a line
Line.
drawn on the ground.
Okay, oval. I'm gonna draw with my hands. Everyone at home, good fucking luck. Oval, right?
Yep. Yep.
Popping crease? I was
Okay.
wrong, everybody. I was wrong.
So-
I was wrong. I had it wrong.
You were looking at the return crease. The lines that are the long lines are called the return crease.
Oh, okay. Lengthwise lines are
the return
crease. Okay, and then oval. If oval is long like a football, everyone at home sideways. Think football head. The pitch is in the center where his nose is. Nose is crooked sideways, and it's a rectangle inside there. The popping crease are his chubby cheeks, but lines.
Correct.
And someone squishing his face. And then he's squinting his eyes and his mouth is a thin line. Those are what are those called?
Return crease.
Return creases. Okay.
So
So there's
there's-
a certain number of feet in yards.
The return crease is 66 feet,
Great.
or 22.
Great.
The popping crease is 12 feet wide, whereas the inside of the return crease is 8.6 feet, and it's 12 feet minimum. Usually it's wider than 12 feet for the popping
One
crease.
of those variable rules.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And the reason for that is so that the runners can run outside of what is the inside rectangle.
Okay.
All right. At the ends of the return crease, 66 feet away from each other, is what is the bowling crease. The bowling crease is where the stumps sit with the wickets on top.
Okay. And the wickets are just balanced up there.
Correct.
Describe in your hand with no words what a wicket looks like. Undulated shape. Everyone at home, you're fucked.
3 poles.
His physical.
2 hats.
Oh wow, everybody! I wish you could have seen what Tyler just did. He being generous, milked 3 cows and then fondled a pair of boobies in the air. That's what he did. I shit you not, everyone. That is what I saw. I can't wait for me to do forever video recordings of this or live streams, because then you all will be able to witness the glory of whatever just happened.
All right. So they're lined up on the bowling crease.
They sure are.
In the center, they are 9 inches wide. So there are 3 of them. 9 divided by 3 is 3, but also to do it's like 4.5 inches from each other.
Sure. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I'm with you. I'm
All right.
with you.
Inside there, between the popping crease and the bowling crease, is a 4-foot area. Cut down inside again is 70 inches wide in the center.
So inside of a 4-foot area, inside of the bowling greens, inside of the pitch, inside of the oval, there's a subdivided 70-inch box in the center of all of that?
A 4-foot by 70-inch box between the popping crease and the return crease. It's center. This is the
batter
batter
box.
box.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I figured it was.
Yes, it's centered in. So 17 inches from the edges of the return crease in is the batter box.
Gotcha. Okay.
Standing in front of the wicket.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people call them the stumps, because the whole thing is the wicket.
Is that what you were fondling the stumps?
The stumps are the keys.
Oh, the stumps are the milking
Yes,
for
yes.
everybody at home.
All right. So that's the pitch.
Okay, that's the pitch.
All right.
Got it.
All right. So outside of the pitch, with it centered there,
Uh-huh.
there are no fixed dimensions for the field, but its diameter usually varies between 450 feet and 500 feet for men's cricket, and 360 feet and 420 feet for women's cricket.
This is probably because there's no home runs or anything, and it doesn't really matter because I'm stopping. He's giving me a look, everybody.
That's the edge boundary.
You
The
can
edge
home run
boundary, there's a certain type of home run. I'll get into it when we talk about
That's
runs.
right. How big a field could be if you can. It's variable.
It's variable. It just has
my
to fit
God.
within those ranges.
They even I know in New York, in a certain baseball stadium or is in New York, they have a wall that's higher to emulate what a home run would be because it's that specific. Why would they just leave that up to? I don't know.
Even in baseball, there are differences in the how far the wall can. There's a range.
Okay.
But the baselines are the same, just like the pitch is the same. Think of the pitch like the difference between first and second base,
Fair.
home base and first base.
Right.
Okay, so the idea is to maximize the playing area at each venue. No boundary shall be longer than 90 yards, and no boundary can be shorter than 65 yards. And that's the radius from the bowling crease to the shortest side. Think of it this way. The wickets are the center point of circles.
Yes.
So they create the circles out of that and then extend the lines to connect the 2 circles to make the oval.
I didn't get any of that. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. That went over my head.
In T20 cricket, we'll just continue. The field. T20 is the cricket that they're playing in the World Cup. It's a version of cricket that is single-day cricket where each team has 20 overs, one inning each, to score runs.
Better than Test cricket? Is it
Test cricket is 5 days.
That's just called Test result. How are we going to test it out?
I think it's just the
We
traditional
got nothing
cricket.
to do for a week, guys.
I don't know why it's called Test. I'm skipping over that because there's just too much.
Okay.
Now, there's an additional line in Mark that's the infield. The infield itself,
This is where the guys who are in go out and the out go in, right? And then the man who goes out goes in.
the out and in has to do with who's batting and who's fielding.
They wrote 3 rules just to say the team switch sides.
In some semblance, yes.
Man.
One had to do with if a batsman gets out, he gets replaced by another batsman.
I mean, that was obvious. Oh, yeah, they could have said, like, what, 3 outs? Is it 3?
No,
5?
10. 10 dismissals in order for them to switch
No,
ends.
you're dismissed. You're dismissed. The whole class is dismissed. Why 10 when there's 11 players?
Because then you don't have 2 runners to be able to switch ends to score runs.
Okay. I was about to say that last batter just gets my chance. Oh, man. We gotta go home. But I don't even know where these runners are or where people wait to go bat. They just switch out from the in to the out. I don't know.
Give me the rules later. I have to finish.
We're not even on the rules. We've been talking about the rules. What do you mean we're not on the rules? How can a sport that's so confusing be so popular?
It's not as confusing as you think once you get into it because I've talked to somebody who is from the UK who played cricket,
Okay.
and he was like, oh, it's a lot simpler than trying to understand the differences in language when you're in the United States because the way things are worded is just a fucking nightmare.
That's a lie because I literally said the same thing when I was like, oh, it's easy to set up this stable diffusion software and get it running. It's fucking complicated as hell. I lied straight up. It's because I spent days figuring it out for myself and watching tutorials. However, I can explain it in a way, but it doesn't mean it's simple.
I'm trying to find the measurements in the infield because somehow it got erased from my...
I don't think it's important.
It's very important.
Why is it important?
It's important because it has to do with the placement of when it comes to power plays.
Power plays.
And where the fielders can be placed.
I don't even remember any of the other measurements you mentioned. Do you think people are listening to this in their car and like taking notes, scrambling the writing as fast as they can, scribbling designs of the pitch and the oval and all the fields and where the people are in their cars as they careen off a bridge? Yeah, I think that's what people are doing. Oh, I'm never gonna remember any of this. You set me up for failure. Oh, I'm never gonna pass this.
I'm learning as long as you as well. I've been studying this for like months.
So how do you expect me to remember it?
I'm trying so hard.
All right, go on.
I need to find the measurements of the infield.
Then I'll panic some more. Ah!
Where are the measurements? What? Also, finding and researching this information is painstaking because it's such a language barrier and then it's not at the top and the words and things make things complicated.
This moment of panic is brought to you by our sponsor. And we're back, and Tyler has the info he was questing for, right? You can't just Google how big they'll pitch.
Dude, the pitch in the infield is different. Why are you only telling me the edge boundary? Show me the infield.
What if you Google power play? Would that tell you?
I got it.
Oh, okay, you got it.
All right. So the infield, centered on the wicket, is 27.4 meter radius. That's the infield. And then it creates an oval, which is straight lines that are run parallel to the return crease on the pitch. So what is that called when the line aligns with the exact edge of the circle?
Parallel? Wait. Oh, tangential.
Tangential.
Yeah.
The lines run tangential to the radius and circle to create the infield. Cool.
All right, we did it, gang. We did it. We won it. Cricket. All right. You all are masters at cricket.
Nope.
Conquer.
You don't. Researching this shit is such a...
We don't want another.
right.
We don't want another hockey situation. That's why I'm doing this.
All right, so you ready for the list of cricket fielding positions?
Am I ready? Do I need a pen? What, okay,
All right, so there's the bowler,
Huh?
which is the pitcher like in baseball, the wicket keeper, which is the catcher like in baseball.
Okay.
Now for the fielding positions that are options but not always utilized.
Wait,
Because these are all options for where they're positioned.
Oh.
Because you only have 9 fielders outside of the bowler and the wicket keeper. Those are the 2 required positions.
Okay.
The rest of the fielders can be positioned in a number of spots, and they're named after their position.
Okay.
The slip.
This is golf going.
Fly slip. The fly slip. Goalie.
Goalie, okay.
Third man.
Third. The fourth one is the third man.
Point.
Point.
Sweeper.
Sweeper. Okay.
Long stop.
Long stop.
Cow corner.
All right.
Cover.
Uh-huh.
Cover point.
Cover point.
Extra cover. Mid off.
Mid on.
Mid on.
Mid on.
Mid wicket. Square leg. Backward square.
Uh-huh.
Leg goalie.
Yeah.
Leg slip.
Uh-huh.
Fine leg.
These are just nicknames for the kids that were playing in the
Long leg. Long off.
Oh, God.
Long on. And short leg. Many of these positions can be prefixed with the terms silly, short, mid, deep, and long.
Stop. You get long leg. You go long leg. Long on. Long off. Long cow corner. What was it, cow man? The long third man.
Like I said, the language barrier is
No,
uncanny.
I understand it perfectly. I just
right.
silly people that made that.
Now we're into the various forms of contest.
What?
How many different forms of cricket do you think can be played?
Test T20. What? Don't laugh, man.
So at the international level, there are 3 ways. Test matches, which
Okay.
are the ones that last 5 days.
Gotcha.
1-day internationals, which usually equate to 50 overs per side, sometimes called 100.
Okay.
T20, which is 20 overs per side. Then there's domestic and franchise club level. There's 4-day games,
Uh-huh.
50 overs, 40 overs, 30 overs, 20 overs, 10 overs, 100 ball, countdown cricket, and quick cricket, which is often played at the junior level, same with countdown.
Was WarioWare cricket? What is it? Mini games in cricket?
Now they're informal cricket. It's called goalie cricket, continuous cricket, and tape ball cricket.
Ball cricket?
Now I'm going to help you with some terms.
Oh, now you're gonna help me with my. Now you're gonna help me. What about the poor people that are at the bottom of the river because they freed their car off trying to write down the short, long on third man, cow stop corner, and long stop?
This terminology is to help you to understand how the game is played. Innings.
I know that.
That's how the game is played.
9,
No.
11.
Test cricket, there can be any number of innings that last 5 days. Usually a minimum of 2 innings are played.
I was expecting a big number.
Nope.
2? 2. Hold on.
In T20, there are only 1 inning played by each side being a batsman and each side being a fielder. So they switch. Most single-day crickets only have 2 innings, which is one person batting and the next one is the other person batting.
Okay.
A wicket refers to the 3 stumps at the end of the pitch.
Now I get that one.
A batsman will bat in front of the wicket to protect it, and their goal is to prevent the ball from hitting the wicket.
Did you go into Act 3?
No, this is still active.
But there's rules.
These are the grounds.
No. Oh, no.
This is terminology. It fits into the grounds
All
because
right.
Act 3, the game, is quite different. A run, which is simply the rule of scoring, just like in baseball.
Rule?
The scoring system. The rule of thumb for scoring. This is most commonly done when a batsman makes a run after making a good hit, where the batsmen switch sides. And in order for them to score a run, one part of their body has to reach the popping crease and be across the popping crease before the wickets are hit on that side and knocked down. That's why outs in cricket are called wickets, because it's you knock down the wicket to get an out more often than not. A full is like a fly ball. So if it's caught on a full or reaches the boundary on a full, that is through the air, has not hit the ground. A dismissal refers to the end of a batsman's batting period. Similar to an out in baseball, the goal for the field team is to dismiss 10 players to end an inning, unless there's a limited overs game, which is what T20 is. After 20 overs are pitched, which is 120 balls thrown that are considered allowable, not no balls or illegal, then they switch innings. An over is 6 legal balls or bowls, usually used to determine it for innings if dismissals don't come first. A strike, location of the batsman who is actively facing the pitch and hitting the ball, which is what we call the batter's box in baseball. That's called the strike, because they're striking the ball. A no ball in cricket is a type of illegal delivery to a batter. Usually, 1 or 2 runs are awarded to the batting team if it is an illegal pitch. There are a number of ways this can happen. A wide is a type of illegal delivery, judged by the umpire to be too wide or too high to be hit by the batsman. 1 run is awarded for it. No ball can occur if the bowler steps over the popping crease, with no part of their front foot behind the popping crease when they deliver the pitch. Glove. Those are the hands on the bat. As long as they are in contact with the bat, they are considered a part of the bat. It's called a glove because they wear a glove. A bye is when the ball gets past the wicketkeeper without hitting the batsman bat or body, and the team can score a run. So if they get past the wicketkeeper, they can run and switch ends and score. A leg bye is if it hits their body and gets past the wicket, but it can't hit the bat. That's your terminology.
I went in a fugue state. I lost all of that. I couldn't recite a single thing. I couldn't recite one thing.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
No, you're good. I think I didn't hear it.
Act 3.
Oh, God.
The game and victory.
Okay, wait. I think I have a pretty good understanding of this game. Yeah. Let me tell you.
All right.
So you got your bowler, right?
Yep.
You got your
Batsman.
batsman or batswoman. Come
Correct.
on now.
Correct.
Or batsperson. So let's be real now. It ain't the 16th century. And they're going to bowl the ball towards the wickets, which are on the stumps,
Which are defended by
the batsman. The batsman's defending. So in the inverse of baseball is the bowler attacking.
to try and hit the wickets.
And then there's 11 other people standing around.
9. Because there's 11 total on the team. You have to count the bowler and the wicket keeper as 2.
There's a total of 22 people that are standing around the pitch, lining it up like a basketball free throw. And then when the bowler goes, they all start chanting, long, long, silly, long, silly, long, long, silly, long, silly, long. It goes up way high. It's full. It goes full. And then they all run in a circle back and forth trying to get over whatever crease. They run and then you win. For 5 days straight they run. And that's cricket.
Some of that was accurate. Very little. But some.
I get to selectively choose what was that.
All right. To get the basics, cricket is played between 2 teams of 11 players on each side. Matches are officiated by 2 umpires, and their decisions in the game are final. T20 is what we're focused on because that is the World Cup version of the game that is being played. 2 teams have a single inning each, which is restricted to a maximum of 20 overs. So 120 legal balls, because an over is 6 balls. Protective equipment like helmets, pads, and gloves are also fundamental across all formats, as well as a specialist cricket shoe that helps with footing on the pitch. No member on the fielding side other than the wicket keeper is permitted to wear gloves or leg guards. So there is no padding on the fielders. They do not have a catching glove like baseball. The wicket keeper has it.
What? Hands?
Just hands.
All right, okay.
Bare hands.
I just remembered something. I have seen something with cricket. There was a video of, I believe it was Indian women's team or Pakistan, I can't remember who, but there's a clip of them. There was a ball in the air, and they grabbed it, and then they threw it up in the air. Because it was going out of bounds, and threw it back before they fell out of bounds, then stepped back inbounds, jumped and caught it. I don't know why they did that, but apparently it was a big deal.
So if the ball crosses the outside boundary on a fly, it's 6 runs. Or however many runs they got before the ball crossed that boundary. With getting 6 runs means they would have had to run 22 feet. No, because the popping crease is short. They run back and forth in a straight line, so it's like to get runs.
And the chanting and skipping takes a lot of time. So
It
you
does.
can't run
It
so
does.
quick.
It does.
Long.
Very, very long. So they have to run back and forth 58 feet because they have to get the bat at least, because the bat is considered an extension of the body for the batsman, across the popping crease before they can run the other direction to score a second run. So each time they switch ends is 1 run. But both batsmen have to reach and cross the popping crease for the count. Okay. That's how runs.
Okay. It seems like a strange system compared to what I'm used to, but I guess the more I think about it with baseball, it's kind of the same thing.
It's very similar.
You're just trying to get to a base instead of cross a line and go back and forth. You're doing a circle in baseball. So it's really not. At first, it was like, oh, that's so silly, but really, oh, we're just running to big white squares.
Yep. And it's 58 feet, which in softball it's 60 feet between bases. In baseball it's 90 feet between bases.
Gotcha.
So like 58 feet is close to what is played in softball.
Okay.
But the reason for that play is because if the ball crosses that line on the ground, it's 4 runs. Or however many times they were able to switch back and forth, whichever is higher. So her being able to keep it from crossing the bounds, because she cannot touch the ground, or he cannot touch the ground on the outside and then touch the ball, then it counts as the 4 runs. So being able to dive across, get the ball before it touches outside the boundary, throw it back inside, get back inside the boundary, and then grab the ball, prevented more runs from scoring. And then she threw it in so then the runners would stop because they don't want to get out. They want to continue being able to bat, because if 10 of them get out, then it switches before overs are coming.
Got it. All right, I understand.
So, similar to baseball, like I said, 1 team bats, 1 team fields. The aim of the game is to score more runs than the opposition. In T20, they each only get 1 opportunity to score runs. And trust me, lots of runs are scored in the field.
How many? I don't trust you.
Hundreds.
Hundreds of runs?
You're talking about 120 pitches. In T20, it's probably less, but Test cricket, they get hundreds.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, if you're going 5-8, you better get hundreds. So is it like basketball level of points scored?
Across all matches, the average score is 144.9 runs, suggesting an average run rate of 7.25 through the innings. Oh, it's per over. So an average of 144 runs per match. A lot of runs. Way more than baseball.
Okay, yeah, a little bit.
So the batsmen who attempt to hit the ball with their bat will get a ball from the bowler on the fielding team. That's the pitch. The ball either has to bounce before the popping crease or arrive on a full below the waist. It's very uncommon for them to arrive on a full because there's a benefit to the bounce, because it becomes harder for you to understand where it's going to go. Because there are different ways that bowlers can spin the ball or throw it hard, or obviously the ground is not perfectly level. It's going to bounce.
Is this still in the area where they can't do overhand?
They can do overhand.
Okay.
They get a running start. They have to keep their one part of the front foot has to have one part of their foot behind the popping crease on their side to throw it in. There are wickets on both sides, mind. So they can't be directly centered, so they're throwing it at an angle anyway because they don't want to knock over the wickets. All right. The fielding crew makes an effort to dismiss the batters in a number of ways. These are like counts. And they have to get 10 of them to switch the inning before they reach 20 overs or 120 pitches.
Got it.
So these are listed in approximate order how commonly they occur. Caught. A fielder catches the ball on a full. Flying through the air and he just catches it.
Change the base.
Yeah. Got it. However, if the fielder catches the ball, but either during the catch or immediately after touches or steps over the boundary, then it counts as the 6 runs on a full. And he's not out.
All right.
Bowled. The batsman misses the ball, and the ball breaks the wicket directly from the bowler's delivery. The batsman is out whether or not he is behind his popping crease. He is also out bowled if the ball breaks the wicket after deflecting off his bat or body.
Okay, yeah, that's the leg behind the leg before the wicket rule.
Correct.
I remembered.
Which is the next rule, which is leg before wicket. Stumped. If a batsman misses the ball in attempting to play it outside his crease, he is out stumped if the wicketkeeper gathers the ball and breaks the wicket with it before the batsman can ground part of his body or his bat behind the crease. So if he takes off the run and the wicketkeeper knocks down the wickets while he's outside of that square, he's out.
Is that where the expression "I'm stumped" comes from?
Very possible. Not sure yet. Run out. The batsman is attempting to take a run or to return to his crease after an aborted run. The fielder may either break the wicket with a hand which holds the ball or with the ball directly and throw it at the wicket. It is possible for...
Wait, he goes over and punches the wicket? I have to...
As long as the ball is in his hand.
He just... and then shatters it. I gotta look up what a wicket is. This whole time I have no idea what a wicket is. Oh, so it literally is 3 balls and they gotta just punch that shit?
Yep.
Bam! Interesting. It's literally everybody else. It's just 3 stakes in the ground. Think of a long wooden stake. I don't know how big. You probably told me how big. I don't remember how big. Wait, you didn't tell me there's wickets on either side.
I did. I literally just did.
All right, I didn't listen. Everybody, guys, I didn't listen.
So the wicket is 28 inches tall and 9 inches wide. So a little over 2 feet.
All right, so you break the wicket.
Yes. Basically, if they're attempting for a run, now this is the difference in baseball. If you hit the ball and it hits the ground and you don't think you and your partner can switch ends, you don't have to run. You are not required to run if you hit the ball.
What if the other guy runs?
Well, then he could fuck you over.
But yeah, I imagine it's like in baseball, you can't have 2 people on the same base. You can't
Correct.
have 2 people on the same. So if they run, like, I'm running, Billy. And I was like, I want to run. You better run then.
Yeah.
You'll have to.
You have to be on the same page. Okay. It is possible for the non-striker to run out if the striker hits the ball down the pitch towards the non-striker's wicket.
Oh, that's where the wicket on the other side. So you can. Oh, what happens then?
So as long as your teammate stays in their box and it knocks down those wickets, it's fine. Nobody's out.
Okay.
But if he's outside the box when it hits those wickets, he's out.
Oh.
So if he has crossed the popping creases in the central square between both popping creases and the return creases, he is then out.
Okay, so the
popping crease is the
the batter's team, both the wickets on either side of the pitch are theirs.
Correct.
So if the wickets get broken or whatever on either side, that's an out, a dismissal. So
it has to hit off the bowler first. So a fielder has to touch the ball before it breaks the wickets for it to count as an out.
So it can't just be like the bowler turns around, wham, right behind him.
Well, if he touches the ball, then it counts as an out.
But before he throws it,
I mean, yeah, if you cross the line, you can get him out. That's why they don't cross the line.
It's like in baseball when you
Try and steal. Yeah.
catch him trying to steal.
So if the batsman hits it and it knocks down the wickets without a fielder touching it, and your partner's outside the popping crease, he's still safe because you can't initiate yourself out. But if it hits off the bowler or the bowler hits it, then he's out.
Okay.
It's also usually after that happens, it's a dead ball because they can't use the wicket to get the runners out. If attempting to hit a ball or taking off on a first roll, the batsman touches or breaks the wicket accidentally. Like if I swing my bat back and I hit the wicket or my foot hits the wicket and the wickets fall, you're out.
It's like in baseball, if I accidentally swing backwards and I whack the umpire right in the nuts, then am I out?
No, usually that's called catcher's interference, and you usually don't hit the umpire, you hit the glove of the catcher.
No, I'm hitting the umpire.
Well, if you hit the umpire, he'll probably call you out.
There's a wham!
You can also be out if you obstruct the field. Say they're trying to throw the ball in, and you're like, "Ha ha! I hit it with my bat and hit it away." You're out.
You can. What if I'm just celebrating? I just did a big hit. And I'm like, oh yeah!
If it's unintentional, you are not out.
Oh, okay. Well,
But if it's intentional,
every
you're out.
play, I'm gonna have the cricket back up in the air, like yeah.
You're also out if you hit the ball twice. If it hits off of the bat and hits your body, you're out.
There's a lot of specific rules here. You know a lot about cricket, Tyler.
Timed out. I've been studying for months.
Oh boy.
Timed out if the batsman takes longer than 2 minutes from the time the previous wicket falls to appear on the field.
Okay.
In T20, they actually have dugouts, so only 2 batsmen are on the field. The rest is the defense. They are fielded. So the defending team with the bowler and the wicket keeper have the rest of their teammates on the field. Only 2 bowlers are on the field. Everyone else is outside the boundary. In T20, they're in what's a dugout.
So it's more like baseball in that aspect. But in other versions, everyone's on the field. But in and out, in and out, 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 out.
No, even in other ones, they're outside the boundary. It's just in T20, because it's the most common used international cricket play, they actually have kind of like dugouts and shaded area.
They don't have shade anywhere else on the world.
I mean, if you're playing naturally, it's like just a giant field. They'd just be standing outside.
I suppose. Okay, yeah.
All right, scoring runs. Before being thrown out, the batters attempt to score as many runs as they can. Hitting and running, basically if they hit the ball and run. They can also, if the ball gets past the wicketkeeper, switch ends as many times as they can to score a run. If the ball gets past the wicketkeeper and reaches the boundary, it constitutes as 4 runs. So if the ball on the ground passes the boundary, it's 4 runs.
Gotcha.
A single is when they just switch ends once.
All right, so let me wrap my head around it. So bowls, batter bats, crickets. Ball goes up over the line outside that 6,
Correct.
or however many times they went back and forth.
whichever is higher.
If-
Which usually has 6, because if you're hitting it that far,
You have to go back and forth 6 times. That is
Yes.
a lot to
Yeah.
run. Okay. If it rolls on the ground out of the line, it's 4. Okay, cool. Otherwise, it's as many runs as you can get in the time.
correct.
1 might be enough.
Correct.
All right. Okay, I've got it.
Okay. There are extra ways to score runs, which is the no ball that I talked about, the wide, and then the crease if they step over the crease in a legal. If with turning for an additional run, one baseman fails to ground some part of their body or bat behind the popping crease, basically not touching the base like the baseball,
Okay.
the umpire declares a short run and the run does not count. Even if the bat is dropped, runs do count as long as each baseman makes his ground with his bat or person somehow. Oftentimes in cricket, they reach the bat out to touch the ground inside the crease to then be able to turn faster. It's like an extension of the body. So even the non-batting batsman has a bat, has a cricket bat.
Interesting. Okay, so they both have cricket bats because they need to switch spots. So when do you change out who's hitting?
So if you get one run,
Uh-huh.
the bowler stays on their same side until an over is completed, then they switch to the other.
Oh, so then when someone goes out, one batter who's on the other side stays there, and the one gets replaced.
It's also a game of endurance because you're in until you are dismissed.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Now I'm starting to get a picture of it. Okay.
And there are rare instances of injury substitutions where you can bring in another player outside of your 11 to replace a player.
But otherwise, you're stuck there.
Yes. It's also very common for bowlers to absolutely demolish batsmen by hitting them with the ball.
All right.
It's an intimidation factor, and it's meant to wear them down. It's very commonplace. You don't get a free run if you get hit.
No, you're just like, well, your leg was in front of the wicket. Wha-bam! Got you. I see. Okay. All right. Okay.
Now, keep in mind, on the bowls, the ball has to bounce. It can either bounce once or reach on a full. If it bounces more than once before reaching the popping crease, it's an illegal pitch.
Okay.
And then they are awarded a free hit where they get an extra bowl where they can't get out even if the bowler hits the wickets.
Oh, interesting.
He can get out, though, on a free hit if he hits the ball on a fly and somebody catches it.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So if they reach 10 dismissals before they reach 20 overs, they'll switch it. So one person becomes defense.
What's an over again?
Over is 6 legal balls.
Okay. Gotcha.
6 legal fields.
Okay.
So these are specific rules to T20 cricket itself. 5-run penalties. An umpire may award one team 5 bonus runs if he feels the opposition is needlessly wasting time. It's meant to keep the game going. 75-minute time limits. Each bowling team is forced to complete their 20 overs within 75 minutes, which is 3 minutes and 45 seconds per over.
What?
They have 3 minutes and 45 seconds to throw 6 balls.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That's fast. The entire game in T20 lasts 75 minutes?
No, that's each inning. So,
There might be 2 innings.
correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, a bonus of 6 runs is given to the batting team if the bowling side has begun its 20th over before their 75 minutes. So if they get into the last one before the 75 minutes. The whole idea is to keep the rhythm and pace of Team 20 because you want it going fast. Individual bowlers are only allowed to bowl a total of 4 overs during a T20 game. So like you wanted in baseball, almost all the fielders have to pitch.
No designated hitter, pitcher.
Correct. This obviously limits the damage that can be inflicted on one batting side by an individual. 90-second rule. Once a wicket has fallen in a T20 match, the following batsman has to take up his position at the wicket within 90 seconds.
What is it?
Fielding restrictions. This is where the power play comes in. T20 cricket only allows 5 fielders to stand on the leg side of the batsman at any time. That's where the batsman is facing. And similarly, only 2 fielders are allowed to stand outside of the inner circle during the first 6 overs of play. That's to have a lot of runs at the beginning of the game. So only 2 people can basically play outfield.
But only in the first 6
Overs.
Gotcha.
So that's 36 balls.
Gotcha. 6 legal per over, 20 overs per inning.
Yeah.
Got it.
They're allowed 5 people in the outer circle or the outfield for the remaining 14 overs.
Okay.
These restrictions basically are designing to increase runs. Bowlouts akin to a penalty shootout. Bowlouts take place at the end of T20 matches if it's tied. 5 bowlers from each side are allowed to bowl twice at the wicket with no batsman standing in its way. The team to topple the most wickets wins the game.
Wait. Stop. The team that topples the most wicket. I thought it was runs.
Runs for the game. If it gets to overtime, it's like a penalty shootout. You have bowlers trying to knock down wickets with no batsman defending. So you have to bounce it and hit the wickets.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. It's like cornhole, that thing.
Yes.
Really?
It's very similar.
All right,
You're knocking
hell yeah.
over the wickets.
Ah, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
putting the beanbag in the hole.
All right. Okay.
And like I said, bowling in changes after 1 over. So after 6 balls, the bowler and the wicket keeper switch ends.
Okay.
So then they might face a different batter, they might not.
Okay.
Depending on
Got it.
how many runs the batsman scores.
Got it.
Strategy.
Strategy.
There's bowler types, spin bowlers that spin the ball. There's 2 different types in them. Wrist spinners that use their wrists to spin the ball when they pitch or bowl, and finger spinners that make use of their fingers to rotate the ball.
Huh. Did American baseball pitchers influence how, like, cricket bowlers?
I think it's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Because you think about if you're bowling over time, you come up with new and unique ways to make it harder for the batsman to hit. Then there's pace bowlers, which are the like speed demons. They throw the ball hard and fast. And then there are what are called swing bowlers, which are paced, apart from being fast, use the seam of the ball to make it travel in a curved path, kind of like a curved ball in baseball. Mixed bowlers are able to do interchange. It's like they're ambidextrous. They can do all kinds of different balls. And then there's slow swing bowlers that throw it slow. So normally you have, depending on strategy, you want to change up who's bowling based on what kind of bowler they are. You don't want to have pace bowler after pace bowler after pace bowler, because then they'll be like, oh, you're just pitching it hard. It's a lot easier for me to hit and get it, get used to it. Whereas switching them in and out. That's cricket.
That's cricket?
From the baseline basics, that is cricket.
That you thought that was gonna be hard. All right, let's see how much I remember. Okay, so 11 people per team. You did a great job explaining it. I will say that, because now I went from having nothing in my head about cricket, not a thing, not a field, not anybody, nothing, to I think I actually understand and I could watch a game at this point, which is the whole point of the practice. So you have an oval field, it's big. I'm not going to remember the specific dimensions, but there are creases and lines delineating different zones, inner circle, outer circle, creases, side creases, whatever. What really matters is the pitch in the center, where you have the bowler and 2 people with bat in the pitch. And everyone else on the bowler's team is outside. First 6 overs, which is 6 legal pitches per over, 36 total balls thrown, good balls. They have to be officiated by the 2 umpires that are there. They can have 2 people in the outfield, but everyone else has to be inside.
Correct. In the inner oval, yeah.
Holy shit. They bowl. It has to either bounce once, only once, or be below the waist.
Correct.
And then he's aiming for the wicket, which is on top of 3 stumps. The wickets are like little things on top.
I mean, the wicket is called the whole thing. The stumps are the base, and then the other things I think are called.
Give me a little credit here.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
So the cricket batter has a big old bat. The cricket bat is big and flat on the front. Gloves. If it touches any part of it, it's legal, even the gloves. He hits it, trying to get it much like baseball, so that he or she can get as much time to run with the other batter on the other side with the other wicket, go back and forth before that ball comes back. So long as they are in the box, their wickets are not undefended and they can't be outed, dismissed. 10 dismissals per inning. Is it like 10 dismissals or 20 overs, whichever comes first? Kind of deal? Then they switch. The umpires has various rules for giving around penalty runs, stuff like that. But in the basics of the game, it's just you hit the ball and try to run, right?
Yes.
Which, as much as it seemed like a foreign entity before, it is not as different from baseball as I thought.
It's more the terminology.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also for me on the research side, trying to Google what a full was
Yeah.
took forever.
No, I think you did an incredible job. I think everyone can forgive you for the hockey incident. I enabled it too. I'm also responsible as half of this podcast. I definitely don't pull my weight in terms of knowing anything. But now I really this is probably the best primer you've ever done, because I have a almost complete understanding of cricket, going from the confusion at the beginning to now I actually kind of want to watch a game now.
So the reason I think I did a better job is I was like this. I spent more than 1 day on this.
Yeah.
Most other things I'm like, okay, I can get a general idea because I understand it to a point in 1 day. I spent months studying cricket. When I was in Vegas for the company that I consult for, they have people that work in the UK, and one of them played cricket. And I had an hour-long conversation with him about cricket to help me understand it.
Gotcha.
Then months went by, and I did the research and typed up the actual primer in the last 7 days. with all the other research that I had already done. And Mark, I am sending you the link to my notes right now, so you can actually see how much I wrote down and how much I kind of skipped over because you asked questions about different things, and how much data I left out so that we could fit it in.
All right.
The short amount of time.
Introduction. Welcome to Go. Small talk, current events, accosting. I like that you have written in every time. Cricket primer. Whoa, my God. I'm scrolling as fast as my finger can scroll. Holy shit, how many pages is this?
24 pages.
He wrote 24 pages of bulleted notes. There's not a gap in any of this. Jesus Christ. What the hell? Oh, there's diagrams. Oh, there's diagrams with measurements. Oh, my God.
There's also links for me being like, I'm not going to be able to scroll through all of this. I need to pull up these links.
Holy crap. This is the most comprehensive primer ever, and I think everyone listening at home, there was a reason there was no accosting today, and it wasn't I was lazy and didn't bring my computer. It's because you deserve a good old thumbs up. You did the world of cricket a service today. I want you to know that. You did the world of cricket a service, because of all the sports, I know the other sports that we talked about, like I know of them. I didn't know a thing about cricket. I want to watch a game. I legitimately want to watch a match. I can't promise afterwards I'll watch another one, but I'm curious now. I am cricket curious.
Well, and the opportunity is there right now because the T20 World Cup is happening right now. It's hosted in Australia. The 2022 World Cup of cricket is going on right
Oh, I haven't heard me that day.
It's multiple days.
Oh, no, I'm good. Hernia's really wiped me out. I can't find. No, I actually will. I promise I will watch some highlights or something.
I mean, I've watched like different instructional videos and stuff like that to get a grasp of it, because not all of this was written down. I had to learn stuff to be able to explain it.
Right.
And it really made me understand now how cricket is the grandfather or grandmother or grand person to baseball.
Yeah.
Because it sounds very complicated as I got into it with the language and the stuff that they use and the terminology.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got into it and I understood how the game is actually played, the basics,
Yeah.
it's so simple now.
Yeah.
After I got through everything, it's like very complicated. But once you get down to it, it ends up being simple.
Wow. Hopefully everyone at home now has a better understanding of cricket, and I think you would. If I do, then you probably do too.
I hope so. But here's the throw wrench in that.
Oh no.
There are new rules to the T20 cricket as of 2022.
Oh, good.
These are more fun things. No change of ends if batter is caught. Moving away from the earlier rule where the batsman would change strike with the ball midair, the new batsman will now take strike if the striker is caught. So instead of the person who's already in the field taking the place, when somebody is caught, they remain on that end and a new batter comes in.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, originally beforehand, they would replace whoever was replaced. They would switch ends, and the person who was already running was now the one in the batter's box.
Gotcha.
Striker's right to play the ball restricted. Any ball which forces the batsman to leave the pitch will be called a no ball by the umpire. For right to play the ball, some part of the batsman bat or person should remain within the pitch, else the ball will be signaled as a dead ball.
Okay.
Penalty for unfair movement during field. If the field team makes any unfair or deliberate movement while the bowler is in a run-up to bowl, the umpire will call it a dead ball and may also award batting side 5 penalties, 5 runs as
So no one in the outfield could go,
Non-striker run-out. This type of dismissal will not be considered as unfair play and will be counted as a regular run-out. So you can get out the non-striker.
Okay.
Bowler throwing the ball at striker's end before delivery, now a dead ball.
This is a lot of rules put in the air.
While the bowlers could previously attempt to run out an advancing batsman before bowling the delivery, aka if the batsman runs before the ball is delivered, this will now be counted and the practice will be signaled a dead ball by the umpire. There you go.
Okay, those are the new rules. Hope you wrote those down. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to this wonderful primer. It really was a primer to remember, a landmark primer for the future going forward. Every primer will have months and months.
I don't have that kind of time.
No, come on. No sleep. We don't need sleep. All right, but this was very informative. Thank you very much, Tyler, for informing me of the world of cricket.
You're welcome, and I hope all of you enjoy the Cricket World Cup, and I hope I did a great service, and not a disservice to the cricket world, as I know there are millions and billions of fans of cricket across the world. Maybe not so many in the U.S., but across the world.
I had no idea, but I'm not one of them yet, but maybe someday I will.
I mean, it's the #1 sport in India.
That's great. I've never been to India.
Neither have I. Someday. Anyway, go check out and download all the episodes of Go. Help Mark's butt finally come to the forefront. I don't know.
Far too late at this point.
Thank you so much for listening. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the merch at store.gmfst.com. Check out Mark and his channel and all the cool stuff that he does. So many projects and so many cool things. If you want to follow me, I'm Apocalypse12 everywhere. Just search Tyler Scheid. It's SCHEID.
And thank you once again for listening. You are all now the most informed sports someone's
Bye. I'm sorry for the construction outside. I have no control over it. Like, literally, I have no control over it. And I'm sorry for my mom talking too loud because my door is currently open. That's the only way I can breathe in this room because that window is closed because of the dust. So, I'll see you guys later. Like I said, I'm still sick. I tried to be as much as reactive as I could have today, but it was not a total guarantee. And I kind of understand the concept of cricket. Like Mark, I would have to probably watch a game or two to really understand it. But yeah, I understand pretty much the baselines of it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I don't know if I'm gonna record Gotham Knights. Maybe if I feel up to it. Maybe. But I have a lot of homework to do, so that's probably a no. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.